Ethan, his judgment completely clouded by alcohol, had pinned Chloe against the plush leather of the back seat. His kisses were frantic, possessive, devouring her skin with a fervor that bordered on aggression. It wasn't long before her shoulder was a canvas of angry red marks, some areas broken and bleeding where his teeth had grazed too hard. Chloe was reeling. She had always considered Ethan a brother, a close confidant. The raw, almost violent desire radiating from him was something she had never anticipated, a stark and unsettling betrayal of their platonic bond. How could he? She thought, the alcohol fumes and the lingering scent of his cologne now sickeningly cloying. I trusted him. Chloe was already late on her very first day reporting to the military base. The luxury van sped down the highway, Chloe's makeup artist frantically dabbing powder on her face. Agent Jing, her manager, was in full reprimand mode, scolding the young assistant. Didn't I tell you to wake her up earlier? If she gets labeled as a diva for being late, do you even realize the damage to her image? Do you have any idea how hard I fought to get her this military reality show? Agent Jing's barrage of words was relentless, giving Chloe a throbbing headache even before the day began. All right, Jing, lay off her, Chloe sighed, her voice still thick with sleep. We were playing games with Ivy until dawn. It's normal to oversleep. Besides, you just snatched this reality show from someone else a few days ago. I haven't even had time to prepare. Frankly, she thought, I'd rather be back in bed. Chloe had only recently risen to fame. Agent Jing, a renowned figure in the industry, had immediately recognized Chloe's potential when she saw her graceful dance background. Her lithe figure and captivating beauty had landed Chloe the coveted role of Flower Queen in the opening dance of the Youth Olympics. Since then, offers for idol drama adaptations had poured in. However, acting might not be her true calling. The drama ratings were steadily declining, though her variety show appearances were a hit, showcasing her witty personality. Industry opinions were divided. Some critics cruelly quipped that Chloe was an ethereal fairy when dancing, but a walking disaster on screen, beyond even divine salvation. Agent Jing, ever pragmatic, decided to steer Chloe towards variety shows, particularly patriotic reality programs, to solidify her fame. But as the saying goes, man proposes, God disposes. Chloe had overslept. Again. Agent Jing, seeing Chloe's languid posture, was about to explode. She slapped away the makeup artist's hand. Forget the makeup. They'll make her wash it all off for the show anyway. What a waste of time. Chloe, still half asleep, yawned and glanced out the window. Well, we're already late. What's the big deal? Parallel to their van, a medium-sized bus was driving, filled with rows of men in crisp Air Force uniforms. They sat ramrod straight, eyes fixed forward, radiating an aura of discipline and quiet strength. Almost involuntarily, Chloe straightened her own posture, stretching languidly. A man sitting in the last row of the bus shifted his head slightly. Chloe paused mid-stretch, squinting, trying to focus. The stickiness of her mascara made her vision a little blurry. No way could it be. Chloe mumbled to herself. She hadn't seen Ethan since graduating from dance academy. After entering the entertainment industry, she'd lost touch. But she vaguely remembered a classmate mentioning that Ethan had joined some military unit. Seriously? Chloe had scoffed back then. Ethan, with his delicate features, joining the army? He'd be skinned alive in boot camp. What is it? Agent Jing leaned closer, peering out the window. The tinted glass of the bus made it impossible to see inside, and their van was already pulling ahead. Nothing, just thought I saw someone, Chloe said, shaking her head. Just my imagination. It couldn't be him. In the bus carrying the Air Force cultural troupe performers, Ethan remained silent throughout the ride. His comrades, though sitting formally, were engaged in casual chatter. Heard Qian Xiaoshuang and Chloe are coming for this reality show. I personally prefer Chloe. Her acting's SOSO, but man, is she beautiful. Me too. Chloe's gorgeous, but my mom says women who are too pretty aren't wife material. Ethan's temples throbbed at the mention of Chloe's name. A familiar, dull ache of nerve pain flared up. He closed his eyes, tuning out the debate about celebrity beauty. Suddenly, someone had an epiphany, snapping his fingers. Hey, wait a minute. Isn't Captain Ethan and Chloe college classmates? I remember seeing you two in the graduation photos, standing really close. Like, really close. Several pairs of eyes swiveled to Ethan in the back row. He opened his eyes, slowly exhaling 2 words, "Not close." The brave comrade persisted. "No way. That kind of closeness doesn't look not close. Didn't instructor say your graduation mentor was your advisor? He even said your graduation dance piece was stunning and breathtaking." Ethan reiterated, "Not close." Then, adding a little more emphasis, "Really, we weren't." "Not anymore," his inner voice whispered, a bitter taste rising in his throat. Air Force 2nd Brigade. After arriving at the base, a sudden downpour canceled all outdoor activities. The schedule loosened up. After filming the indoor segments, the daytime shooting was essentially done. Chloe asked her assistant to deliver ice drinks to the production crew and the participating Air Force personnel as an apology for her tardiness. Agent Jing subtly gave her an "I'm impressed" look. Thankfully, Chloe's quick thinking in buying the drinks had managed to appease Jing's initial fury. Jing's unwavering support for Chloe stemmed from more than just Chloe's looks. She recognized her sharp wit, adaptability, and obedience. Of course, Chloe wouldn't reveal to Jing that she was simply using the same tactics she used to placate her own mother. Jing then handed Chloe the script for the upcoming schedule. The filming was timed to coincide with the August 1st Army Day celebrations. The Air Force Cultural Troupe would be performing, and the show's director, knowing Chloe's background in ethnic dance, wanted her to choreograph a simple dance with the troupe's dance team. Chloe took the script, instantly recognizing that this was Agent Jing's idea, thinly veiled as a director's request. "Jing, you really know how to pile work on my plate." Jing waved it off dismissively. "Any opportunity for positive exposure is worth grabbing. Otherwise, Serafina Chien will steal all the spotlight, and we can't have that. Besides, Serafina and Ivy are sworn enemies. Shouldn't you, as Ivy's friend, put Serafina in her place?" Chloe pouted but didn't argue, turning her attention to the script. And that's when she froze. Chloe hadn't been mistaken that morning. The man in the bus was Ethan. Filming schedule 6:07 and 30 seconds p.m., Chloe to meet with Ethan, captain of the Air Force Cultural Troop dance team, to discuss dance collaboration. The Air Force base at night remained quiet, undisturbed by the film crew's arrival. Chloe followed the production assistant toward the auditorium, her palms sweating as she clutched the small script booklet. Her stomach churned nervously. Great, she thought, the nervous bladder is back. And it always kicks in at the worst possible moment, especially when Ethan's involved. "Excuse me, production assistant, could you wait a sec?" Chloe raised her hand, clutching her stomach. "I need to use the restroom. You go ahead, I'll catch up." The production assistant tried to call out, but Chloe had already vanished like smoke. The assistant's words, "Actually, the restroom is the other way," were lost to the wind. Chloe wandered around the base like a lost puppy, asking several soldiers before finally locating a women's restroom. It was a makeshift one, hastily converted from the men's restroom for the filming crew. Sitting on the toilet, Chloe leaned her head against the cool tile wall, staring at Ethan's name on the script. Her temples throbbed in rhythm with her anxiety. Ethan. Her feelings about him were always a tangled mess. Deep down, she genuinely considered him a brother, a best friend. But then, there was that incident in the car, the memory still a raw, burning ember of confusion and shame. After slapping him, twice, to be precise, they'd been in this awkward standoff ever since. But the truth, a secret she hadn't confessed to anyone, was that she sometimes regretted those slaps. Ethan's kiss, despite the circumstances, had been surprisingly intoxicating. Damn it, Chloe. You came to the restroom to figure out the dance, not to relive that kiss. Chloe mentally slapped herself. Get it together. Knock, knock. 2 soft knocks on the restroom door made Chloe jump. Yes? Just a minute, almost done. Chloe called out quickly, then muttered to herself, are all the stalls really occupied? Chloe, come out. Ethan's voice. The moment she heard it, silence descended in the tiny restroom. Ethan knew Chloe inside and out, better than anyone. He knew her habit of hiding in the last stall of the restroom when overwhelmed, a childhood quirk from their dance training days. There were only a few restrooms on the base. Ethan had checked them one by one, finally tracking Chloe down to this remote corner. Are you going to come out yourself, or do I have to break down the door? His voice was calm, but with an underlying edge of steel. Click. Chloe unlocked the stall door. Ethan stood there in his crisp Air Force uniform, leaning casually against the wall, hands in his pockets. He glanced up. As she emerged, his gaze flickering over her. "Finally decided to grace us with your presence?" He glanced at his watch. "It's almost 7:30. Let's go." He turned and started walking towards the exit. In the dim restroom light, his silhouette was sharp and clear, straight back, long legs, every inch of him radiating that familiar, unflappable composure. The Ethan she knew, unchanged. "Wait," Chloe called out, her heart racing. She felt a sudden rush of panic. Ethan's calm demeanor was always the most unsettling. She could never read his true emotions. Taking a few hesitant steps forward, Chloe lowered her gaze to her feet, scuffing her sneakers against the floor, trying to distract herself from the rising tension. "How did you know I was here?" Ethan stopped, turning back. His voice, while still measured, now carried a hint of impatience. "The production assistant said you had stomach cramps and might delay the shoot. Our schedules are tightly regulated, and our team has their own rehearsal time. I don't want the entire plan disrupted because of you. Understand?" Chloe stared at him, momentarily stunned. His words felt like a cold splash of water. Her mind blanked for a second, then she nodded, a bit mechanically. "Yes, I understand. Then let's go. Don't keep everyone waiting." A wave of shame washed over Chloe. She kept her head down, trying to slip past Ethan and rush out of the restroom, but he caught her by the collar. Even though Chloe was already quite tall, next to Ethan, she still felt small, like a chick in his grasp, completely helpless. Ethan released her collar, gently patting her hunched shoulders. "Relax. I remember the force of those slaps. I won't try anything funny." A ghost of a smile played on his lips. Chloe's face flushed crimson. "Ethan, about back then. I didn't know what I was doing. Please don't take it to heart." Ethan gave a small, humorless smile. He adjusted her military cap, straightening the brim, then tightened the slightly loose belt around her waist. Her uniform was a bit big on her frame. She was petite, always needing size S. But here, even the smallest size felt like borrowed adult clothes. Chloe stood quietly as Ethan straightened her uniform, his voice soft but with an underlying firmness. "When you're on a military base, you should look like a soldier." It was as if they were transported back 20 years, to the dance studio when she was 4, meeting Ethan for the first time. He'd stood before her just like this, taking little Chloe's hand from her mother. "When you're here, we're all going to be dancers. And dancers don't cry." The dance rehearsal progressed with surprising speed and efficiency. Chloe suggested dance ideas, and Ethan understood instantly. Ethan would initiate a lift, and Chloe would instinctively know how to respond. Their seamless coordination made everyone else feel like mere spectators. Even the head director couldn't resist approaching them. "Chloe, do you two know each other?" Chloe instinctively looked at Ethan, hesitant to reveal their past relationship if it might cause him trouble. Ethan smiled smoothly. "Chloe and I are college classmates. We used to be dance partners." The others nodded knowingly, especially Ethan's fellow soldiers. A collective thought echoed in their minds. "Really not close, huh?" Chloe offered a polite smile, then moved closer to Ethan, whispering, "Is it okay? Telling them we know each other." Ethan glanced sideways at her. "It's not like we're ex-lovers. What's there to worry about?" Chloe was once again rendered speechless by his bluntness. Besides dance rehearsals, the filming schedule was packed with intense military training segments. Though toned down for the celebrity guests, it was still physically demanding, especially for the pampered stars. Chloe, with her dance background and the director's desire to showcase her skills, had a heavier workload than the other guests. The accumulated fatigue and stress eventually caught up to her. Chloe came down with a fever. She initially dismissed it as a common cold and still went to the auditorium for rehearsal as scheduled. Ethan had planned a duet for Chloe and himself to precede the troupe's group dance. But Chloe was clearly unwell, her movements sluggish, her limbs heavy. She even missed Ethan's leg during several lifts, nearly falling. Repeatedly failed opening sequences disrupted the dance team's rehearsal time, causing discontent among the orchestra members waiting their turn. The rehearsal ground to a halt, the tension palpable. While the dance team members, out of respect for Ethan, remained silent, Chloe could see the unease etched on their faces. Ethan had noticed Chloe's unusually flushed cheeks from the beginning. He had repeatedly asked if she was feeling all right, if she could manage. Chloe, afraid of delaying the schedule, had insisted she was fine. But the reality was far from fine. Without a word, Ethan reached out and touched Chloe's forehead. It was burning hot, hot enough to fry an egg. He immediately made a decision. Let's put our duet on hold. You guys rehearsed the group number one last time. I'll talk to the orchestra. Then, taking Chloe's arm, he led her aside. Chloe has a high fever. We need to get her to the medical clinic. Ethan released her hand as soon as he finished speaking, turning and leaving the auditorium without looking back. Chloe stood there, a whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. She looked down at her wrist, the faint white marks from his grip slowly fading. Only she knew how tightly Ethan had held her arm just moments ago. Dosage of fever reducer taken, for drip in place, Chloe was confined to the medical clinic with nothing to do. She scrolled through Weibo on her phone, spotting a recent post from Youyang, a casual daily update. In the photo, the man sitting opposite her had his face blurred out with a cartoonish mosaic. A thought sparked. She had met Youyang through Charles. Because Ethan and Charles were cousins. Since her falling out with Ethan, her contact with Charles had also dwindled, partly due to lack of time and partly out of awkwardness. Ethan's lifelong dream had always been to become a professional dancer, his passion genuine and deep-seated. So how had he ended up in the Air Force cultural troupe? Seeing the mosaic-covered Charles, a glimmer of understanding dawned on her. Hey, busy, Charles, she messaged him. Chloe didn't expect an immediate reply. Just as she was about to put her phone down, a WeChat notification popped up. Salted girl. What's up? Chloe rolled her eyes at the nickname, but with a question to ask, she suppressed the urge to retort. I'm filming a reality show at an Air Force base. Ran into Ethan. How did he end up in the cultural troupe? Did your dad pull strings? Charles called her directly. Which Air Force base are you at? Chloe told him, 2nd Brigade. Charles slapped his thigh dramatically. Wow, small world. You know, the guy I wanted to introduce you to, Cheng Zhen, is also in the 2nd Brigade. Want me to have him look after you? Chloe was speechless. Can you focus, please? Charles chuckled sheepishly. Just teasing. About Ethan. After graduation, the kid had some kind of brain fart. He was supposed to stay at the academy as a teacher, but he quit and ran off. Overseas. My uncle was furious, dragged him back, and forced him to audition for the Air Force cultural troupe. And he actually got in. Even though Charles couldn't see her, Chloe instinctively shrunk back, feeling guilty. Hahaha. The cultural troupe is good too, very good. Seriously, Chloe, the men in our circle are all top-notch. How come you don't like any of us? First me, then Ethan, and you even stood up Cheng Zhen when I tried to set you two up. What is it? Do you have something against military guys? What does Ethan have to do with this? Chloe suddenly felt lost. Ethan's been crushing on you for years, and you just treat him like air? Chloe. Graduation day, I even egged him on to confess to you after a few drinks. Remember? What did you say when you rejected him? He was moping around for ages after that. Said? She hadn't said anything. She'd just delivered 2 resounding slaps to his face. Wait, so you're the mastermind behind this whole thing? If it weren't for you, maybe Ethan and I would have. Before she could finish, Chloe saw a pair of straight, military-issue trousers come into view. Without missing a beat, Chloe quickly ended the call. Gotta go. I'll settle the score with you later. Bye. Ethan slowly crouched down beside her, placing a tray he was holding onto the side table. The young assistant had been temporarily summoned by Agent Jing. The clinic's 4-room was now empty except for them. Have some porridge. Open up. Ethan scooped a spoonful of plain white porridge and offered it to her. Chloe didn't move. Just moments ago, she'd learned that this man in front of her had harbored feelings for her for years. Chloe felt her temperature spike again, her head spinning even more. Whatever Ethan said, Chloe just nodded in response. Is it too hot? No, not hot. Want some pickles on the side? Okay. What score are you settling with Charles? Chloe choked on the porridge, sputtering. Chloe, originally named Xiao Yan, became Xiao Salt because her mother had a heavy hand with seasoning. When it was time to register Chloe's birth at the police station, her father called home to ask her mother how much salt to put in the dish she was cooking. Her mother, hearing the word salt, got excited. And in a moment of distracted enthusiasm, she wrote, Salt, Yan in Chinese, but salt in English context, instead of yen, also yen in Chinese, meaning beautiful, on the birth registration form. And thus, Xiaoyan became Xiao Salt. At 4 years old, Chloe's mother enrolled her in dance classes. It was a bright, sunny morning in early spring. Everything was fresh and new. Little Chloe hated kindergarten. Every morning was a tearful battle. This time, she thought she was being sent to another dreaded kindergarten, and her cries were particularly loud. Ethan had been in the dance studio for 6 months already, considered a senior student among the kids. He heard the annoying wailing from afar, as irritating as his younger sister Stella's crying. But Ethan, even at a young age, was somewhat experienced in soothing girls. Suppressing his annoyance, he finished his leg stretches, pulled a neatly folded handkerchief from his small backpack, and took Chloe from her mother's arms. It was a task assigned by the teacher. Whenever a new student joined, the soothing duties were given to the handsome and well-behaved Ethan, always achieving better results. Chloe was tiny, like a cute little hamster. Not knowing anyone else, she clung to Ethan. From that day on, Chloe genuinely felt that Ethan, who could comfort her and was also a good dancer, was the perfect big brother figure. And so, she became incredibly attached to him. Attachment, once formed, becomes a habit, almost an addiction. Chloe and Ethan's dance world was a solitary one, yet they existed in the same space, providing companionship to each other. From age 4 onwards, they were inseparable. Elementary school, middle school, high school, even choosing to attend the same dance academy together. They had never really been apart. Chloe's dance foundation wasn't as strong as Ethan's. Sometimes, she dreaded the intense training, feared the teacher scolding, and would hide in the restroom, feigning illness. Ethan, though he would always grumble impatiently, let someone else find her this time. Always me going to find Chloe, so tiring. If she doesn't want to practice, she doesn't want to practice. What's it to me? But each time Chloe cautiously opened the restroom door, Ethan would be standing there, and she would hear his gruff voice, "This is the last time. Next time you hide, no one will look for you." Chloe was thick-skinned. Ethan's harsh words were like stones thrown at cotton, leaving no real impact. And it was largely thanks to Ethan's constant pushing and pulling that Chloe's grades in the dance studio remained in the upper middle range. Chloe's introduction to Charles was entirely Ethan's fault, a self-inflicted wound. They were participating in a provincial dance competition, needing to watch their weight. But the night before the competition, Chloe craved hot pot desperately. And since she and Ethan were partners in a duet, she didn't want to practice, only wanted hot pot. "Ethan, I really want to eat it," Chloe whined, circling him in her practice clothes, trying to persuade her stoic partner. "Do you want a beating?" "No beating, just a taste. I swear, I'll only eat like 200 grams, just to satisfy my craving." "I don't trust you. Get lost." Chloe giggled, unfazed. She stopped pacing, instead, placing her hands on Ethan's shoulders, performing a perfect split, extending halfway to the floor. Then, abruptly, she hooked her leg around Ethan's arm, half embracing his shoulders, resting her head on his shoulder, whimpering softly. "Big brother, please, let's just go eat? Pretty please?" Ethan froze, completely caught off guard by Chloe's sudden intimacy, though he realized within seconds that she was simply trying to butter him up, devoid of any romantic intent. But Ethan wasn't. Long before Chloe blossomed into a beautiful young woman, his gaze towards her had ceased to be one of childish annoyance. Whenever boys showed interest and approached Chloe, Ethan would always appear at just the right moment. "Chloe's gone to practice." Beautiful girls were universally admired. Ethan considered himself just a regular guy, so he was no exception. Moreover, in Chloe's world, besides dance, his presence was the most prominent. If another boy were to take his place, Ethan would definitely not allow it. Seeing Ethan's lack of reaction, Chloe nuzzled him again, her voice even softer. "Ethan, you're the best to me. I'm your most loyal little follower. Please just say yes." And so, Ethan, uncharacteristically, felt a little lightheaded, a little flattered. "I'll take you after the competition." However, he hadn't anticipated that on the day of the competition, Charles and his brother Shinsu would drop by Ethan's house. Hearing that Ethan was going out for hot pot with a friend, Charles was the first to jump up, insisting on tagging along. Shinsu, suffering from mouth ulcers, couldn't eat hot pot. Ethan still vividly remembered the wolfish glint in Charles's eyes when he saw Chloe, a predatory green light. Chloe, ever oblivious, didn't notice Ethan's face darkening to charcoal behind her. She found Charles even more chatty than herself, their two voices rising and falling in animated conversation, completely sidelining Ethan. Consequently, while eating hot pot, Ethan became a food tyrant, forbidding Chloe from eating this and that. Chloe pouted. "Did I come to a hot pot restaurant just to drink broth?" Ethan retorted without hesitation, "You can watch me eat." "Ethan, you're going back on your word. You're bullying me. You just realizing what kind of person I am?" "Ethan, give me back my beef rolls." Ethan shoved a roll into his mouth, puffing out his cheeks to block Chloe's reaching hand. Charles leaned back in his chair, hands behind his head, amusedly observing their bickering, a knowing smile playing on his lips. One weekend, Ethan received a call from Charles. "Ethan, I like Chloe. Help me win her over, would you?" Ethan hung up on him without a word. Before disconnecting, he couldn't resist adding, "Dream on. Go cool off somewhere else." Choosing dance academy as her university was Chloe's decision in the second semester of her junior year of high school. And it was still because of Ethan. "Ethan, I have no idea which university to apply to." Chloe sat down in front of him with her textbook, propping her chin on her hand. "Do you have any good suggestions? The teachers want us to decide soon, so we can tailor our practice to the school's preferences." Ethan didn't even look up from his homework. "Dance academy, duh. Where else? You should always aim for the best." "But I might not get in? What do you take me for?" Ethan finally put down his pen, looking directly at Chloe. Chloe blinked, then realized, a big brother? Ethan rolled his eyes, his expression unreadable. He went back to his homework. "Exactly. Just follow my lead. When have I ever let you down?" Chloe thought about it. He had a point. "Okay, I'll tell the teacher right away." Watching her skip away, Ethan shook his head, a small smile playing on his lips, his eyes holding an affection he himself didn't recognize. Ethan had never said he liked her. Not even once. Even though it was obvious to everyone else, Ethan treated her differently. He was always the most special person in her life. For the university entrance exams, Ethan guided Chloe. For academics, Ethan guided Chloe. On the day they received their acceptance letters, Chloe was ecstatic. Ethan watched her run towards him, a soft smile gracing his lips. Rarely did he open his arms, but this time he did, letting Chloe leap into his embrace. Their graduation dance piece was a duet. Throughout their 4 years in university, they had majored in ethnic dance. Everyone knew Ethan and Chloe were the golden duo, inseparable. Homecoming was an A-grade, excellent graduation piece, choreographed by Ethan himself. Everyone knew it was a love story-themed ethnic dance. But Ethan knew better. He had poured his feelings for Chloe, from their first encounter, their shared journey, to the present burgeoning emotions, into the essence of the dance. The female lead was Chloe. It was his carefully crafted gift for his beloved. Even if she was oblivious, he was content. Ethan had always believed that their relationship would naturally blossom. He believed Chloe would understand his feelings eventually, it was just a matter of time. However, he had overestimated Chloe's emotional intelligence and, more importantly, his own alcohol tolerance. At their graduation dinner, Ethan, emboldened by alcohol, intended to confess his feelings to Chloe. But he drank too much. Chloe carried him home on her back. In the car, Ethan wrapped his arms around Chloe. Despite the alcohol, his carefully prepared confession evaporated the moment he saw Chloe's rosy, tempting lips. He pinned Chloe against the back seat, kissing her skin with a wild, desperate fervor. Chloe struggled in panic, desperately calling out his name, "Ethan. Ethan. Wake up. It's Chloe." But his mind was lost in the fog of alcohol until Chloe, with every ounce of strength she possessed, pushed Ethan away, delivering 2 sharp slaps across his face. The slaps shocked Ethan back to sobriety. His head throbbed, but he saw the kiss marks he'd left on Chloe's shoulder, some areas even bleeding from his teeth. Her dress was half torn, and he saw Chloe huddled in the corner, knees drawn to her chest, trembling. Ethan reached out, wanting to touch Chloe's hand, but she recoiled, her whole body radiating fear and rejection. "Ethan, just go. Don't make me hate you."